Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to another episode of Engineering with Shamil. And today we are going to continue with the Lucknow series, the Lucknow fire incident series that took place on the 22nd of June 2026. And it had taken the lives of 15 people. It had unfortunately taken the lives of 15 people. So today we are going to discuss on the behavior of occupants of the building. So how do occupants behave during the time of the fire emergency? So during the Lucknow fire incidents, it was observed that the occupants of the building, some of the people, they started jumping from the windows. Okay. Some people, they climbed the power cables, which was running near to the building, and some were performing desperate acts. Okay. But they were not irrational, but they were desperately trying to find ways to escape from the building. So because of this, they had panic inside them. And panic actually is basically because of unpreparedness. Okay, so these are some of the observations for the occupants. So in the Lucknow fire incidents, what did the witnesses see? That is, what did the people who were there outside the building saw? So some of the people, they noticed that the people inside the building, they were screaming from windows asking for help. Some people, they jumped from the upper floors. Okay, and because of that, they had faced serious injuries, and some were actually fatally injured. Okay, now there were some people who climbed down the power cables, and power cables were minded, and you need to understand that the power cables were actually live. They were actually live, so that if anyone touches, then there's a risk of electrocution, and because of that, that person will fall down. Then the local residents, that the people who were there in the nearby in the town, they actually started throwing stones on the windows, and in order to create the escape routes for the occupants. And it was complete chaos. No one inside the building knew what to do during the time of an emergency. So the common reasons for panic is basically it is about unfamiliarity. So the people who are there inside the building, they don't know the building layout, or they don't know the exits. They don't know which exit to be used in order to escape from the building. So in case of Lucknow, there is only one exit. But even if they know also, that exit was actually that was the only exit which got engulfed with fire and smoke. Then the second one is the smoke and darkness. Because of the smoke and darkness, they were disoriented. They can't see clearly. Then the third one is they didn't have clear instructions on what to do. There was no alarm. There was no announcements. There was no guidance in the building. And then it was a perceived entrapment. It was like they had a perceived entrapment because they felt that there was no way to escape from the building. They were trapped in the building because of the fire. And the last one is the social pressure. Because of one person in their group actually did something, it could be even wrong. If regardless of whether the person has done it correctly or wrong, if one person does something for escaping from the building, all the other people would do the same thing. So it's basically a herd behavior. Okay, so it's like a social pressure. So these are some of the reasons for panicking. So basically, it's unfamiliarity, smoke and darkness. Then we have no clear instructions. Then the perceived entrapment and the social pressure. So these are some of the reasons for panicking. Now, what panic looks like? So panic looks like, in the case of Lucknow fire incident, what happened was people started jumping from windows. That is one observation. The second observation is that they used the power cables to climb down from the building. And the third one is they started pushing and crowding. Okay, and because of that, each act has a consequence as well. It's not only about escaping, but it comes with consequence. So jumping from window is basically, it leads to fatal or serious injury. Climbing cables means it has a risk of electrocution. So once you are getting electrocuted, there is a chance, once you get electrocuted, you will start falling, and sometimes it will lead to death as well. And pushing and crowding is basically, it's trampling and also blocked exits. Okay, this is what happens in pushing and crowding. And then we have the freezing. So that's the occupants, they are unable to move or decide on how to proceed further. Then going back for belongings. Now this is a common observation that during the time of fire, when there is belongings kept inside the room, they will actually they have the tendency to grab the belongings and run away from this thing. But that is one observation among the occupants. So because of this, what happens is the escape time is getting reduced. It's getting wasted. So the human factors, we need to understand what are the human factors. So we need to understand how the people behave during the time of emergencies. So again, I will start from the beginning for this slide. So we need to understand what are human factors. So human factors is basically we need to understand how people behave during the time of emergencies. We need to recognize the fear, confusion, and uncertainty are normal. Okay. The third one is that whenever we are designing the buildings and the procedures, it should account for the human limitations. Okay, that we need to consider the various human aspects. The last one is we need to replace panic with action, and this can be done through preparation and practice. So how can we prepare the occupants? One way to prepare the occupants is through fire drills. Now we actually neglect fire drills. There's a tendency for neglecting the fire drills because we think that it's just a random exercise. But the importance of fire drill is that you can actually you can actually know where the fire exit is, and you can implement the fire exit during the time of an emergency, so that when the actual scenario comes, you are ready to escape. So the first benefit is that practice. Whenever there's a fire drill, actively participate in the fire drill so that it will make familiar, so people will know what to do without thinking. Second one is the fire drill will actually help you prepare, and because of that the fear will get reduced, so familiarity will reduce anxiety. The third one is identify the problems. So the fire drills, it revealed blocked exits or signage issues. That is so during the time of an emergency, you will be facing you'll be having difficulty in order to find the exits or the entry points. So we need to familiarize ourselves where the exit and the signage is located. Then it helps you build muscle memory. So whenever an emergency occurs, we know how to evacuate from the building. So it will come as a natural response or an automatic response without any hesitation. So these are some of the benefits. So first of all, the reason why we have fire drill is that the practice will make familiar. The second one is it will help us reduce fear. It will help us identify the problems during the time of evacuation, and also it will help us build the muscle memory. Now we need to develop an emergency action plan as well. So the elements involved in designing an emergency action plan is, so first of all we need to identify the clear exit routes. So the exit routes will be pre-planned and marked. That is number one. Number two is that the alarm systems. So the alarm systems, the early warning systems will be there, both sound and visual. The third one is the public address. It will give you the voice instructions, so it will reduce the confusion among the audience, among the occupants. Then each floor will be having trained floor wardens, and these floor wardens will be guiding the occupants to their respective exits. And then we have the evacuation maps. So the evacuation maps is basically posted in each floor showing that you are here and these are the exit paths. Then we have the assembly paths. So the assembly paths will be the areas which are located outside the building, so that people who are escaping from the building, they will gather outside the building. So this is all about the emergency action plan. So there are 6 elements. So first one is the emergency action plans is basically for designing the clear exit routes. It is also for using the ability of the alarm systems and the public address systems. Then in the emergency action plan, we are considering the trained floor wardens. Then we are also considering the evacuation maps, and lastly but not the least, we are also considering the assembly areas as well. So in the Lucknow fire incidents, what all are the observations made? What all did the building get wrong? So first of all, the building did not have any fire drills. So the occupants who were there inside the building, they didn't know what to do. The second thing is that there was no exit signage. There was no guidance during the time of smoke. The third one is there was no public address system. There was no voice instructions. There was no fire alarm system also. The fourth one is there was no trained staff. There was no one to direct evacuation. And the fifth one is there was no emergency plan. It was all chaos, and it all happened based on the spot thinking. So the people were untrained, or they were unaware where the exits are. Okay. So these are some of the observations where the building have gone wrong with respect to the fire drills or with respect to the fire evacuation. So the key takeaway of this video is that preparation for any emergency will reduce panic. It will replace panic. So people actually don't panic when they are weak. They panic when they are unprepared. Okay. So the fire drills and the emergency plans are not bureaucratic exercises. It is not something which is coming from the government. It is actually a life-saving tools. It is for the people only. It's for the occupants only. So the intention of the fire drill is that it is to replace fire with action. Okay, it is to replace confusion with clarity, and it is to replace the desperation with the plan. It is to make people aware about the fire exit. It is to make them prepared for the fire incident so that they can easily evacuate from the building, and they can help others evacuate also from the building. So a simple lesson that we all need to follow when it comes to the fire drills is that without preparation, it will all be chaos and tragedy. And with preparation, everything will be calm and we can easily survive any emergency situation. So this is about the fire drills. This is about the occupant behavior in any emergency situation. And thank you. So in case if you have any queries or doubts regarding this particular topic, please do share them in the comment box, and I'll be happily obliged to answer to each of your queries. And before signing off, I would humbly request to all of you to kindly like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Engineering with Shamil, so that I will have the motivation to create more videos in the future. So thank you once again, and I sign off, wishing all of you a good day ahead.